of episode from the Mama-daughter duo, glimpses of his goodness, glimpses from her life lessons. Therefore, today we have come up with a topic to give back all glory to Jesus alone. And this topic is definitely very close to my mom's heart. So I would just like to introduce the topic as life lessons, life's learnings. So she's going to talk about how important, how powerful is the spirit of learning, how important it is to inculcate a habit of learning. Even while we grow in the Lord, it's so important for us to always embrace a spirit of learning. And she throws some light upon, through these learnings, we build our life lessons. Learning is something that happens in and through our life experiences. It is not just some learning in and through theoretically or through a bookish knowledge, but it is very much through your life's experiences. And that is why, and that is how I am so excited to capture her video, because I know she is a product of our life lessons. So here over to her to bring up the first question upon this episode of life lessons, and how important learning is, to just hear from the very heart of who has gone through so much and who would give us some glimpses upon it. So what is learning, and how is learning different from academic studies, and how important it is for us to embrace the spirit of learning? Can you talk about that, Mama?
Yes. Study is actually whatever we from our childhood go to school, go to college, go for higher education. Some of us go for doctorate line, for engineering, so many things. That is all related to for their future, for their earning, and for their benefits for the life. It is like study. But if you say about learning is not like that. It is from your childhood till you go back to heaven, you can learn. Because learning is a process that you have to desire to learn.
Wow.
No one can force you to learn. Your willingness, you have that. Otherwise you cannot learn. And mainly you have the self-interest to learn.
Wow, that's so perfect. So with that note, I would just like to journey a little bit more deeper. So I understood the way you have, separated the typical academic learning or, studies to a life lesson learning as. And with that, I think it's so important for us to understand that, is there a particular age that we can learn, or is there any particular a person that has a right to teach us, or do we need to have a spirit of learning no matter what? Because I think you can just talk about this better. So is there any particular age to learn?
No, there is no particular age about learning. There is no limit for learning. And there is no shame for learning. Because in whatever your age is, whatever your circumstances is, if you get a correct person to teach you, you can learn from him or her. So now I am giving you an just an example. In this period, in this situation, my daughter is teaching me and pushing me and giving me inspiration for my biblical lessons. So I am improving for her. So I am just
so let's go.
glad to say that.
So I think what you have emphasized and highlighted is the thought that there is no age to learn and there is no season to learn. It's an all-time process. It just goes on. And it's so important for us to, that's really so beautiful to hear from you, because I think we all get stuck and we all feel that, this is what is all important to us, and we get stuck in our process. We build walls and we think this is not the age for us to receive anymore. This is not, and that is, I'm really honored and really humbled to say that, to look at your level of humility. That's something that you carry, and I'm really honored that God, it is really Jesus who is using this beautiful season to revolve around Jesus. But he looks for willing hearts like you and you especially, even in this age. I think the way you put effort, the way you put your heart out, the way you are willing to spread out your life lessons, I think that's a beautiful heart to see. With that note, we right now go to the third question, where I would like to throw some light and see, is there any particular biblical character that has inspired you from all the characters that we have been learning from, in this season? And what is it that one thing that you have really learned from that particular biblical character? So here you go.
Yes. I am a woman, so now I want to talk about a woman. Her name was Ruth. So when she was very young, she lost her husband. Her mother-in-law was insisting her to stay back to her own place. But she was not at all a selfish woman. She was very, very kind-hearted woman. She told her mother-in-law, where you will go, I will go. Where you will stay, I will stay. I will not leave you. I will look after you. That sacrifice, that mentality, it was marvelous. But for that, I can tell you that what God did for her. Do you know? She didn't ask anything from God, but God gave her a good husband, a family, a good life. Whatever she needed, she got it automatically from God.
Because she chose to just focus on God.
Yes.
And she chose to be selfless.
Yes.
So I think I really get that point, that it's so good to hear that your favorite character is Ruth. Especially to learn something from her is the way she embraced challenges. And something that you were talking about is life is full of challenges, and despite of every challenge we need to inculcate a behavior to face it, just like Ruth did it. And in the process, whatever is the needs, whatever one is looking for, God brings their Boazes. God would take care of every need of every heart, if we are willing to be like Ruth, if we are willing to be selfless like her.
Exactly.
And then I think our life lessons begin to look very more vibrant, right? So with that note, I would like to even go a little bit more deeper in understanding another sector or another area about this very, very thought of I feel like when we begin to learn and when we begin to grow, there are definitely areas that we feel that we have conquered. To be more precise, we feel that we have mastered in that specific call, we have mastered in specific skill, talent, no matter what it is. And I think eventually, like for me, like even if it's to do with something that I'm good at, eventually I might end up thinking, hey, you know what, Ammo? This is good enough. Now you need to learn something new. Yes, definitely learning something new is always helpful. But at the same time, I think the blunder and the mistake is to think that that one particular area where I have mastered, that I have reached the brim of it. No, never. Because I think there is no end to learning. I know I'm almost taking away what my mom is about to say. But even before she gives her example, I wanted to make it very clear for our viewers, because I think we have never ever mastered any area. And if we feel that we have mastered, what are the 3 tricks that we need to follow up? I think that's where my mom would bring it up with. Is there any particular area that you feel that you have mastered?
Yes, because cooking is my very, very passionate thing.
I know that.
So I always cook for my children, for my family, friends, everybody. But that doesn't mean I cannot learn more and more cooking. Till today, I am learning new things, new dishes, and everything I'm trying. And also that way I can tell one thing, that no one can stop your learning. If you are interested in singing or preaching or painting or writing, whatever it is, you should continue to learn that. Don't stop it. And one thing I can tell you, that whatever you learn, that first point is research, and second point is learn, third point is practice. Just do it. Then you can think, yes, I am doing something.
Wow, so basically there is a process of researching, learning it, and making an attempt to learn, and then keep practicing it. So there is, even if we feel, I think we have conquered, we can never say that we have conquered it so well that we cannot learn further. And that's the danger we can face it, because we should never have a spirit that says, we are good enough. No, because the true spirit of learning would always encourage us to always keep learning. So with that note, I think we will shift the focus to another section of this entire topic, and that is to do with see, pain is an inevitable part of our life. So when we are talking about life lessons, when we're talking about a spirit of learning, no matter what life is bringing us, how do we handle pain? Is pain a blessing, or is it something that we need to run away from? How do we need to handle pain? Even when we want to make life lessons, build life lessons, but it's not easy, right? So how can you throw some light upon how do we handle pain and how do we treat pain as?
Pain comes from any type. Sometimes pains come from that is very common things that we cannot avoid.
Like our mistakes, and
we made mistakes sometimes, and for that we have to face the
consequences.
So, yes, but the pain, if God, something we are feeling, God is giving this pain, but definitely
He's allowing
that. After that you will gain it, something from that.
Man.
That I believe. When pain comes from Him, after that you will gain it, not lose anything from that. So I can tell you, in my family, when my children were very small, we have a dacoity. All the ornaments went gone. My property somehow gone. My other jewelry also, I kept for them something that also gone for just to keep running my situation. So that time I was feeling, where is God? Why it is happening to me? These things. But actually it was not bad for me. Through that period, when I received Jesus Christ in my life, it was my greatest gain.
Oh, wow.
So, and after Jesus came into my life, there is no lack, there is no pain. If I feel any pain also there, God is always beside me and always help me. So, my just one request, build life lesson that they should be that in my season of pain I gained Jesus Christ, my greatest gain.
Wow.
So never take pain for waste.
Wow.
Just take a stand.
Awesome. That's
Just
like
take a stand.
so beautiful. So I think I will not stop you here, and we will directly, I know it's little sensitive, but I think it's okay to ask you, and it's okay for you to share, because I'm sure a lot of people would be blessed. I know, since you took up the topic of how you gained Christ in the season of your pain, and that one gain helps us forget every other thing, because indeed he has borne highest level of pain, right? So I think, as much as we know that there's a new life in Christ and there is a new hope in Christ, but I think it's also not as easy we think at times, especially you being the first one in the entire generation to come to the Lord, you being the first seed from a Brahmin background to taste the love of the living Lord. And then me and my sister, you have passed it on so beautifully. The greatest gift, I think you have passed it on to us and to so many more generations that we are praying and believing for. Having said so, since you spoke about standing firm in Him, I'm sure the initial days of gaining Christ, it wasn't easy. Especially in dealing with our own relatives, people, their questions, their doubts, in fact our own family members at times. And yet we want to grow in the Lord, and it's so important for us to take a stand in the Lord. I'm so sure it was so difficult for you, Mama, which I know, and I have journeyed with you. So if you're comfortable, would you like to share a bits of pieces from that journey?
Yes. That time we all were, myself and my two daughters, all were baby Christian. That time, sometimes we go for the prayer meeting or prayer request, anywhere we go. But sometimes I remember we just locked our washroom and we three were praying. This happened with us. But one special incident till today I remember, very close to my heart, one person. that time threatened me, if you go for Christ, I will cut my hand. But Jesus gave me strength that time. I took a stand firm and prayed to Him. You gave everything to me. You know how to protect. And that situation was very, very painful for me. But today I want to glad to tell you that same person is very much near to Christ today and very much near to my heart till today, and I am praying for him that one day he will totally come to Jesus Christ.
Amen. So beautiful.
That pain was there, but today my gain is there.